up from the above to tell us when to start. So it will probably be another couple minutes. Do you hear me well? Oh, now you do. Okay. issue of skill gap, which is one of the most pressing issues because everybody but your grandmother is probably talking about it. And it's also one of the issues of the interaction between university and its environment, because industry frequently accuses academia of not doing enough, of making them to reskill recent graduates, of producing graduates who are not able to innovate and change the industry and propel it forward. On the other hand, universities say, well, how can we possibly do it if you're so closed, if you're not telling us what you need specifically, if you're not helping us, if you're not making the step forward? So apparently it's the problem that should be somehow solved in a collaboration between academia and industry, but still, before that, universities, every university, must determine their specific place in this equation. Are you a strategy partner? Are you a strategic partner? Or maybe you are a driver, maybe you are the leader here. Maybe universities must determine how the future should look like, produce graduates who can actually make that future happen, who are capable of critical action and changing the reality to fit the vision of universities. In any case, regardless of that, whether you see yourself as a partner or you see yourself as a driver, it seems that universities are not up to task from either of these perspectives. They must change. They must somehow reimagine themselves for the 21st century. And to do that, they have to start somewhere. So today, we will discuss these possible points of departure. My name is Dara Melnik. I'm the head of the research group at Skolkovo Education Development Center, Moscow School of Management, Skolkovo, which is in Russia. Also, we have Vladica Cvetkovic from Serbian Academy of Arts and Sciences. He will speak a little bit about the leadership. So if we are trying to change something, it kind of makes sense to change those who run universities and who determine how they function specifically. Then Jasna Atanasievich will talk a little bit about challenges that the academia faces, because a lot of things are changing. The very nature of work and labor market is changing. And to transform universities, we must first speak about the challenges they have to respond to. And finally, whether we talk of small iterative changes in collaboration with the industry or powerful changes caused by universities, we need trailblazers that show us the way. We need experimental universities that have enough boldness and courage to start something new. And today we have Mr. Shridit from the Global Institute of Integral Management Studies in India, who will talk a little bit about the practices they are trying out and the approaches that are working and maybe not working for them as well. Would you begin, please? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dara. So I will spend my 10 minutes, or maybe even less, as I promised, in speaking about 1/3 of this topic for today. And this is the role of academia. In other words, I will be speaking about the importance of prerequisites for all these things that we hear in the entire conference tomorrow and yesterday and today. So if we agree that all the issues we somehow formulated, we need to do some changes. I mean, I think this statement is valid. Then those changes should be undertaken. And my first order questions are, who is supposed to design, conduct and monitor this fundamental shift in education that we are constantly speaking about here, in which academic environment they should occur. So these are two, for me, first order questions. And even if I put that in a single question, then it is whether we are now at present right people and suitable environment for achieving the goals that we are facing. I think that, so what occurred to me is that this is the fourth conference. And please, your name is, again, I cannot. Srijit. Okay. So maybe I have a question for you, because you were present at other conferences. I can imagine that many things that we hear now were repeated. Just now we are repeating them because they were present at previous conferences as well. So I can really expect that in the fifth conference we will be speaking about the same thing. What is to be faced, or what we... I mean, we all know that we live in a fast-changing society, that the needs are not the same today as they were before, that our mobile phones contain information and blah, blah, blah. But this is the point that we have to think about the changes and who will do it and in which environment. So we need people, and when I say people, I mean that these are people presently living and working in the academic environment. These are not some people that we have to imagine. No, this is the people that we have. So in order to face the future needs, we have to be aware that we have to do it with the people that we have now, and that their characteristics, their nature was defined before. So they are from the past. So we selected them in the past. We control their quality in the past. We have to face the future with the people from the past. So this is my first half conclusion. We cannot face the problems if we don't have enough people which are self-confident, motivated, capable, societally responsible, and creative. So do we have, or we have probably a lack of such people. The environment, I would merge with people, because we cannot define environment if you don't speak about whether you have high quality people and high decision-making positions. So it is not a point that we have the highest possible quality people. Nobody has that. And of course, when I address the environment and the people, all the systems can be seen individually. I don't speak about the world situation, but you can integrate that. Anyway, even if you speak individually, then you have to think whether you have that good distribution of people in terms of decision-making situation. Then the environment, outside of the quality of the people, you can think it is designed, of course, according to the procedure, administration, everything else. Is it transparent? Is it common interest driven? Or it is something else? Can we successfully respond to the future needs if we don't first solve the past damages? I think that it is not possible. And of course, I'm referring here to the countries or the systems that are much closer to Serbia than to Germany or Switzerland. But never mind, you can just take a look on some documents and see what is the situation European-wide in the Bologna frame, which covers some 37 or more millions of students. And just a quick look, and you can see that more than 50% of Bologna-framed higher educational systems can get in only 50%. You can get some pedagogical, okay, improvement of skills for the higher education teachers only on request. And some countries you cannot get it at all. So the problem of those skills that are lacking in our higher education has been recognized long. I mean, Bologna was signed more than 15 years ago, if I remember. Yes? So, and we still are slowly progressing, or whether it is a progress at all, I don't know. Again, half of the countries, they don't have national strategies of using new technologies in teaching. Again, only half of them they have. Some of them, they don't have procedures at all. How many? I think that I have a good data that says only 1/3 is using code of recruitment, which is widely accepted in some highly developed countries, I mean in terms of education. In many countries we still do recruitment which is really bad. So that if it is a long-term problem, then with whom you are going to produce such proactive changes? How I'm staying with my time, I have a couple of sentences more.
As
Is
long
it
as you
okay?
remain
Okay,
interesting.
okay,
yeah,
no,
good.
this is okay, because I open probably some room for discussions further on. Then I will finish. But this is really communicating with something that we heard on the plenary session today. The second guy, I would say, from Netherlands, he pointed out that we need changes and interdisciplinarity in teaching and in producing programs. I just wonder how many people take part at this conference, which speak in favor of that and which fight against that in their communities. I know a couple of them, but I will not mention the name. So I will finish with this, how to tackle that problem of prerequisites with individual systems, because I said I speak about many local systems. So 100 times we can here think globally but act locally. All the changes should, of course, be done locally. And then we speak about individual systems. So what is the condition of each system? The people that take part in that system should pose that question to themselves. Oh, it's okay. For you, and I will finish that, just imagine a simple range of the institutions in terms of the time span, according to the time span that it is needed to solve a terrible case of plagiarism. Let's say of political influential people that did it in the academic environment. So the institution which solves it in a few months or only 2 or 3 months, as we have an example in University of Tübingen very recently, or Zimbabwe, it needs a couple of years or maybe, or even worse countries. I just hesitate to mention the name. Do you think that this wide range can assume that all these institutions can behave proactively in the same way? I don't believe. I think that this test would say very openly what you can expect from these environments. You can expect many storytelling moments, but no active doing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Vladica. Does anybody have questions?
Or we can do it afterwards if we have time.
Yes, or perhaps you would like to say that Vladica is completely wrong and you have a radically different idea. Okay, as long as you can provide argumentation, that's fine as well. Do you guys have questions? I would like to ask one, because I'm afraid I'll forget it by the end of our presentations. So, if we have people from the past who have to somehow take our universities into the future, what can be done? What are the possible mechanisms of upgrading them to fit the contemporaneity?
I would say that it strongly depends on the individual system. They should recognize their own problems. If you have a totally wrong selection procedure that lasts for 20 years, so it means that you have to change it immediately, because the last best moment to change it was 20 years ago, and the first next is now. Oh, this is it.
Let me try to do this, because closing the skill gap. I'm still trying to drag your points.
Okay.
There are ways to do that. For example, Fab Lab. I don't know whether you heard that, Fab Lab from MIT. So that is a chance, because what you want to change, it must be disruptive. It must be different as what you used to do. Otherwise, there's no point to discuss that. So one way to do that is you use Fab Lab. Fab Lab actually is based on anything which you want to develop, and use the skills or use whatever you need by chance. So you need that to fulfill, and you do it. Well, there are too many political issues, but we don't discuss, we just say the skill gap. What you need is exactly for that job you have to fulfill, and you try to get that skills done. You can get it from website, you can get it from professors, you can get whoever has that kind of skill. Fab Lab is one of the suggestions I can make, and that is happening in China today. In Shanghai, we have about, I don't know, nowadays it's about 100 Fab Labs in whole China within 2 years. So of course you hear the topic is talking about innovation. You might not be able to do the innovation. You think, wow, this is a country that we don't even have the economic strength to do that innovation. But it's not true. Basically, you want the students to become aware of the future, aware of their skills, which they have learned, is that sufficient or not, and really force professor to change. So what you teach now is not sufficient for what the student wants. So this is a kind of changing.
Yeah, but the problem here is, I'll get it back to the topic of your presentation. So we have students who have to be taught something new. We have professors who have to teach them something new. And we have administration who has to organize that. And you're saying that the selection system must be changed, but what do you do with the ones who are already there? How to make them open Fab Labs?
Then you have to think about the procedures, or when you make a reform, you don't have the same credit to high quality and low quality people. You have to recognize them. Maybe it is an utopia, but I don't think anything else is good.
If I may suggest an answer to that question, if you're dealing with teachers, educators who are of the old guard, who maybe hired on the wrong criteria, maybe even on the basis of corruption, like in Indonesia where I worked, most of the people are appointed by paying a bribe. What do you do in such a situation? I think the best solution is curriculum development, because they're not going to resist that. Those kinds of people are quite happy for someone to provide them with curriculum content, and by the time they finish teaching it a few times, perhaps they'll even understand it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good way in to provide them good materials. Yeah, it's of course you have to change the hiring strategy. That's urgent, but while you have those people and they're on fixed positions until retirement, they're public servants often, think that's probably the best way to improve the situation.
Jasna, I feel you have a comment in response, and you can also then begin your presentation. And yeah. Mhm.
Yes, I would just like to add to this list of ideas how to deal with old people. is to
They're not
is to
old, they're
think
just from
about
the past.
linking or making responsibilizing educational institutions to the market. So it's a bit stressful. Those policies are difficult to apply because usually there are resistances from vested interest. But making institutions more responsible to the market, more exposed to the market needs, is the way, also one way to think about. And the other, again, mobilization of market, stream of mobilization of market discipline is to better inform future students what are their prospects on the market from old type of institutions or from different institutions that are offering educational programs. I have impression that there are some.
If I just add something to that?
Yes, and then we'll proceed to you. Mhm.
That process is sustainable and socially meaningful and socially responsible to all people involved only if the markets are self-reflective on the values in the society.
Yes.
Without that in the equation,
Yeah. This
have
dangerous.
less people,
I agree.
another form of violence.
That's why I-
multitude forms of violence.
And then who's responsible for them being self-reflected if not universities, right?
I
So-
agree, and I think it's
The last comment before Jasna's presentation.
Which has been started.
Using some
Yeah.
of the key words. So first of all, gap. There is the word gap. There's a huge financial gap, SDGs, and the money needed for the implementation. The annual gap is in between 1.7 trillion and 2.5 trillion dollars. So there is a work cut out for everyone in too many areas. So to resolve the issue, and there was a reference, this notion of, okay, baby boomers, okay, you have to withdraw from the scene and give the space to the new generation. I think one can do it through unconventional forms of learning. That is, there are real life issues. You don't have to fake it in a lab type of situation, okay? 169 targets, okay? These are real life issues, unfunded, undone. So release the new generation, students, to attack those issues. The question is, and this is an unresolved question, how you incentivize people. Who will pay for it? There is no money. The credit system is not acknowledging. It might be okay in the context of one university or a Chinese network of universities, but if you would like to go in between, I don't know, Serbia and the UK and other countries, the recognition of packages of work credited is unresolved. So people cannot be expected to work for free. So there are a couple of issues, but there is work, there is a need, and there is nothing going on.
I wouldn't say, okay.
Noted.
Okay.
So new state policy will limit the number of questions after the presentation to 3. And then
I'm
so that
afraid
we
that
can have a
I will
discussion
only
in the end.
open some new questions
Yeah.
because in such a short time it will be difficult to make some complex analysis, but at least, and I'm economist, we like to simplify the world, maybe oversimplify, but at least I will try
Economists
to
simplify things? Okay, that's new.
Yes,
Tell
try
us
to,
about it.
to reduce to just few variables and then talk in the simplified model, which is not always, and take some bold hypotheses, I would say. I would link to what Vladica has raised and try to put some different light on it and more to be more specific about how these global challenges that we have been talking about during this conference and many other similar events, occasions, and studies, and how it translates to the development context, to countries like Serbia, which is something that from where Vladica took his examples. So just to summarize what we have heard, and where we, I think, all agree that we have today an important skills gap related to the significant shift in the economy, in technology, and it will be even greater in the future as some professions will be replaced by machines. We even don't know which kind of professions we will need on the labor market in the future. So we need to pay attention on two types of skills gap. On one side, I will try to summarize and to simplify, sorry, for the sake of clarity. One type of skills are, let's call them hard skills. They are related to all digital Industry 4.0 demand that is created in the economy, meaning programming, data analytics, development of artificial intelligence. Those skills that will be needed to be incorporated in various other professions, let's say, or profiles. On the other side, we are all talking about some, let's call them soft skills, which are, unlike hard skills, which are easy to, I can say, easy to teach, but we are facing challenge in terms of speed and how to reach the larger scale. On the other side, we are facing the huge gap in soft skills, and we will be even more needing them in the future, meaning flexibility, problem solving, curiosity, creativity, multidisciplinary thinking, empathy. We hear very often empathy, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, all those set of skills which will be important and which will not be replaced by machines and artificial intelligence and robots in the future. Bad news is that these skills are hard to teach. It's a huge challenge, and it's something that we need to pay attention to. I personally believe that, and what is also important, that we need to integrate all those skills throughout all educational cycles to be able to have adequate profiles at the end on the labor market. What I believe personally is that as many times in the past where we had shifts in technology, educational system would somehow cope with it, and as the most creative and the most open-minded segment of the society will find a way to respond and will adapt. And the fact that we are having this conference and that we are discussing these issues means that there is a huge awareness, at least, and even will to find solutions and to adapt. What I would like to emphasize here is my observation that these soft skills that we will need in abundance, we already need, and it will be even more important in the future, are traditionally developed and nurtured and taught in the area of social sciences and humanities. What does it mean for the future programs development and delivery in very practical terms? We need, now I will use another buzzwords, we will need to make interdisciplinary programs to transcend all other disciplines with these with the elements from that are traditionally that were represented exclusively or almost exclusively in programs in social sciences, meaning management, communication, teamwork, leadership, all those courses or teaching methods that are incorporated into courses about society, about relationships in the society, policies, how to deal with them, and all those topics that are reserved for social science. So, having said all that, I would now like to put more light into how all these findings translate into development context. For countries such as Serbia or various other middle-income countries, how this skills gap will translate to their development, or which challenges here we need to be aware of. First, what we were all optimistic about, and hopefully it reflects in our economic development, is that there was an important opportunity from the Industry 4.0, from the technology shift. Creative disruption is going on, and we are traditionally strong in countries, in middle-income countries, like Serbia, like Romania, like various other countries of similar development path. We are strong in STEM sciences, in mathematics, in engineering. And it creates a huge opportunity for innovative startups, IT industry that is emerging, and it's good development that is happening. What is not good is that the same countries are relatively weaker, and it's also a part of the legacy, of tradition, of consequence of authoritarian regimes where social sciences were considered as dangerous and needed to be under watch of political authorities, and they were not developed under meritocratic framework, neither being incentivized to do relevant studies and to develop excellence on a world scale, excellence, not locally. What is the consequence of this? The consequence on the labor and in pair with the structure of the economy, which is on one side dominated by the state, especially on the demand side for professions that are issued by the social science programs, education, segment of the education, which is state. It's very formalistic. They ask to have a paper or degree on this and that, not whether you are a creative thinker, problem solver, and so on. On the other side, there are low labor costs attracted for indirect investment, who are not so demanding, let's say, for skilled labor force. I would like here to raise two possible consequences on the labor market and on this potential for using market pressure to stimulate development of the education that we need need globally, and we also need in these countries. And it's very much connected with what you have mentioned, that they are meaningful only when we have a socially responsible market. In other situations, it may even be dangerous to erode the independence of the academic sector. I would like to share with you here one graph. So first, this graph illustrates the share of scientific publications on SCE.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I don't know how that
It's
works.
okay.
They are a result of a research, and the author is sitting here in the third row. He scraped all the data from the Web of Science on all scientific publications in the world, and calculated the share of Serbia across various fields of science and subfields, disciplines. And what we see, does it works? What we see here, in this area is underdeveloped social sciences, underdeveloped humanities, and overdeveloped or well-developed natural sciences, and especially engineering, IT, technology, all those disciplines, and agricultural sciences are well developed. How it, okay, just one more graph. How it translates to the economic development? Well, to be able to scale up and to well manage and to reach global market with new startups in IT, we need to have good skilled people in organization, communication, management, leadership, and so. What we have in reality is, in fact, that the most of these companies are outsourcing companies for global market. Very few exceptions are those that succeeded to get value from their innovation and to develop it on a global scale. On the other side, how it translates, in my personal opinion, on the level of the development of the society is that we fail to design good policies, to make good decisions, both on a private, on the individual level, on a collective level, on a firm level. And that is something that we need to pay attention on in when talking about skills gap and how to bridge it on a global level where we all agree which skills are there. My concern here is that having this situation in many developing countries may result in significant brain drain on one side of
And
these
is
good
resulting,
skills,
right?
is already resulting, and on the other side it will undermine and even deepen the gap in terms of development, and we may miss the opportunity to catch up on this technological shift, which is in our favor given that we are strong in IT and technology. I tried to draw some graph. Those points are different countries. This on the vertical axis, we see the share of publications in social sciences in all other scientific publications, relevant scientific publications in this country. And here we have a ranking on Human Development Index by United Nations. Here we have GDP per capita. So it's not the fruit of some detailed analysis, econometrics, and so on, but it's worth seeing that there might be some relationship between the development, level of development of the society and of the economy with the strengths in social science, in education and research, which is very much connected, in social sciences, meaning our knowledge and our skills about how to organize ourselves and how to solve problems of the society. Thank you. I hope this will open
Okay.
your questions.
So 3 comments as promised, and then we'll proceed to meet Mr. Shridit. Yes.
Because obviously it's not possible to prepare everything for everybody
Well, I think that new technologies and educational tools that that are already offered, and they will be even better, like online courses and flexible modular programs, are definitely helping in adapting education to each individual. Is that something what you have asked? But what I also think in the future, the contact teaching will remain very important, and I think that mentoring will be even more important. We might also think about research teaching, which is already introduced in many advanced universities in advanced countries, which is probably the best way to transmit all those soft skills at once and transmit hard knowledge about certain topics. So maybe these methods can help in personalization on various sides.
Yes?
I just wanted to comment briefly on your suggestion that social science should be incorporated into other subject areas because of the soft skills that it imparts. I think that's very true. I don't know how to go about it, because the problem is if you add a little bit of social science into the mix, it doesn't quite cut it. It isn't quite enough. And you get these really strange phenomena. For example, I'm an anthropologist, so I study other cultures, and I see these sort of courses they give to managers and tech staff of cross-cultural awareness. I can only laugh at it. It's a joke. So you have these sort of strange attempts to incorporate, and this is an awareness of the need, but I don't think it works, and I wonder if it's not better to simply have some people like that on the teams, especially if you want to get into the global market, into Asia.
More questions? Have one question left. So I've been having a problem for a while with the distinction between hard skills and soft skills. I mean, if we are talking about, say, critical thinking or problem solving, why is it a soft skill? Why is it not a hard skill in today's reality, when we need every graduate to be able of critical thought and critical action and sound judgment and solving any problems they face in the workforce and beyond?
You are right. I just try to simplify their across this hard to teach or easy to teach dimension. I don't think.
I'm
you're
not
right,
sure
there
critical
should be
thinking is
incorporated.
easy to teach.
I think in current setting with all the not old people but old with people from all, but you said that not you, but from your
The content
speech.
of my presentation is different.
Not you.
You'll apologize later. Go on.
I think that they are hard from this perspective because they are traditionally not intentionally integrated into curricula. They're transversal, and they are upon on the awareness of instructors, of teachers, how much they are going to be developed through the lectures. They're only now at advanced schools being systematically taught and integrated. So that's why I said hard, but I personally believe that it's very important. It's key also to deal, and I see there that there is much more responsibility from the scientists and from university in the society, especially today where we are facing as we call it post-truth world, where there are fake news, there is no official truth. Everything can be said officially and without which can be contested with facts immediately. So critical thinking is something that will make society more resilient. And if we educate from primary school kids to be able to take different perspectives and to question and to take a specific knowledge from various disciplines and to make some assumptions and conclusions with that, we will be able to deal, and the university and academic community will be able to help the society to stay stable, at least, to name
Okay.
it like that.
Ms. Chairwoman, can I just tag on to what you asked, and thank you for the question. I really, really am glad you said that, because we have to unhinge this language, even to refuse to use it that way. Just by the sheer practicality of the hard skills are gonna be the one first replaced by automation. Because that's something by simulation, immersion, virtual realities, all of this is gonna be learnable in self-driven, isolated by yourself in your room spaces or anywhere else. To design things together is gonna require collaboration and a team mindset in order to create or generate social solutions, right? That's a different thing. And then the soft skills are gonna be very strong skills, not hard, not hard. They're gonna be very strong skills that we're gonna need each other for desperately. And this is where the hope lies and the future lies.
Thank you
so
for that
much.
contribution.
Good morning to you all. My name is Srijit. I'm representing a logistics school from south part of India, Global Institute of Integral Management Studies in Cochin. I started this organization 5 years back, along with 2 other investors. We are having 1-year PG diploma and 2-year MBA program in logistics and supply chain management. As per our initial plan, we took 120 admissions in the first year of our commencement. In second year, students enrollment has increased to 260, then to 290 in third year, and 320 in the fourth year. And now with 400 students in our campus, we happen to be the #1 logistics school in India. Thanks to the inspirations and guidance of Dr. Gary Jacobs and Dr. Alberto Zucconi, I'm a living beneficiary of vast conferences and World University Consortium, their visions and principles. But looking back, our sail for the last 5 years as an institution, it was not that easy. We faced some major challenges which helped us transforming and in adopting newer methods and approaches in teaching and learning. I'm from a city called Cochin, South India, where there are 72 business schools in and around a diameter of 25 kilometers. Competition was huge, as an investor, I had developed a very good career development and corporate relation team, which helped us in making 45 industry tie-ups, including Amazon, DHL, FedEx, Maersk, IBM, etc., where we were able to place 100% of students in the first year, because it was part of my survival itself. This acted as a unique selling point with which we doubled our admissions and hence the revenue. But the problem started in the middle of second year, where some of our recruiting companies called us back and complained that your students lacks values and attitudes. Most of them left us within 3 to 5 months of joining, after their trainings and all. Another cohort of students were even lacking the basics of logistics and supply chain management, was yet another complaint. And some companies told straight in our face that we are not coming back to your campus anymore for recruiting students. I was in a false notion that if I recruit senior industry specialists and academicians as faculties, they will take care of my students. These instances made us rethink about the methods what we practice in our campus. I consulted these things with Dr. Gary Jacobs. He extended his time to us, and we, some 24 faculty members, sat for 3 full days, discussed with what can be done for improving the situation. My survival as an institution was also threatened, questioned. It is a highly competitive world. In the meeting, we took feedback from senior faculty members, including our director, head of the departments, senior faculty members, director, HODs, associate director, and they started commenting about some of the practical issues, what they are facing in the class. Teachers started complaining this, that I teach everything, covering the entire curriculum and syllabus from Bharatiyar University, which we are affiliated with, and from an industrial consortium promoted by Government of India, Confederation of India Industries. We are covering everything, the curriculum. But students are not learning all that needs to be learned. Second complaint faculty were making was students are not punctual in coming to classes, in submitting assignments, in completing their projects. They look forward for Friday afternoons because there is an exciting life in the city, parties, travel, music, Bollywood movies. Fourth feedback what we got was just for passing the examination, they just manipulate things, do not understand, mug up certain answers, just to finish for getting certificates. And they don't want to listen to us. Our relationship are not value-based. We have to often threaten them to accomplish things. Faculty members pointed fingers to management, my team members as well, that you are taking everyone in order to meet financial targets, and hence 35 to 40% of our students are not at all employable. You are taking some fools to our school. They are in competition with themselves. Other than academics, they are in competition with themselves. And hence, there is very less chance for team play, peer-to-peer learning, and group projects. As our management team, along with placement cell, were trying for industrial tie-ups in the first year in order to take competitive advantage through creating jobs for our students, we clearly understood the requirements of logistics companies, what they are looking at a fresher. They are not looking for researchers or scientists with in-depth knowledge in logistics and supply chain management, but a person who can talk and listen, who is open to learning, and who is a continuous learner. Why? Because knowledge and jobs itself of today itself will be obsolete tomorrow. So what they want is, the people who are open to learning or a continuous learner. They require freshers who can think out of the box, having critical thinking, who can solve day-to-day problems. They like people with creativity, who can think differently to promote their businesses and in creating delight for the customers and clients. They require freshers with adequate IT literacy, basics of MS Office, designing or doing business online or SAP operating systems. I'm telling about the logistics sector. Who will not switch jobs merely for $100 increment offered by other companies, integrity and commitment. They need people with common sense, just the basic knowledge and having general knowledge about the trends of the industry, and a team player without ego. This is the basic requirement, Companies don't want scientists or researchers. Now we understand the genuinity of the complaints we got from the companies. We understood that there is a huge mismatch between the actual requirement of the companies and the system what we had in the campus. We tried some experiments which later on proved as very successful for us. Thanks to Gary Jacobs again for his consultancies and contributions. We created standard operating procedures for the entire institute, and most interestingly, SOP for designing a session. A team consisting of one technical consultant, who is an expert in logistics, a faculty member, an academic facilitator, 6 students, and 1 member from placement cell to design each class. We adopted one day, one subject policy in the campus in order to enhance discussions in the classroom. SOP suggests live stories, videos, discussion topics, games, new trends in each class session, where faculty will lecture only for 20 minutes in a 2.5-hour session. Materials to read, how every 15 minutes is designed with activities, smaller groups for discussions, presentation of the students and their participatory roles are sent online before the actual sessions. Second thing what we did was we revamped the total syllabus and the curriculum actually. This was the experimentation. We did a detailed research and identified 2,000 concepts, terms and terminologies each logistician should know. And how we can deliver this in the class. We developed 200 stories to explain 2,000 concepts. Each story carries real-life logistics itself. There are not as such case studies. They are not as such case studies, but more of real-life contents. For example, last year we started our sessions with a World Cup football match which Russia was hosted. When around 400,000 new people are coming to a city, what are all the logistical and infrastructural arrangements to be made? Requirements of building new stadiums, transporting the guests, infrastructure and roads, necessity of commodities, food, water, milk, etc., even new airports to be built, cargo movement, etc. A huge amount of logistical arrangements are needed through which faculties discussed most of the concepts of logistics, including warehouses, transportation, documentation, purchase order, invoices, importing of items, air, sea cargo. In Russia, football was imported from Pakistan, hence import documentation also. Just-in-time logistics, hence creating and in actual football, actual movement of football inside the football ground to explain logistical concepts. Passing of football to explain intermodal transportation, opponent team as competitors trying to capture your consignment, penalty shootout to explain free on board, passing the ball through air to explain air cargo transportation, through ground to explain road rail transportation, ball going outside the ground to explaining contingencies which can come, referee's red card to explain custom formalities, so on and so forth. Faculties even compared with 2018 Russia with 2022 Qatar FIFA World Cup to explain strategies and planning of FIFA for the future. Finally gave an assignment to students to present if Cochin city, my own city back in India, is arranging a football World Cup, which may not happen in 100 years, who knows, what are all the logistical arrangement to be made, splitting them into groups and making each group present in the class, and the best presentation is given with a gift. Hence, life itself is recreated in the classroom. We proceed to celebrations and logistics, for example, same with Christmas and logistics, calamities, natural calamities at the time of floods, earthquake, or even fire and wind. We were able to connect with the logistics, FedEx. We celebrated FedEx Day, Apple Day, and Amazon Day in the campus to carry out the businesses they are and the business models and marketplace offered by them. Hence, creating student-centered classrooms where learning process which is an informal one. We concentrate on knowledge of life beyond examinations and makes them feel how harmoniously the co-creation of knowledge and learning can happen. These classes helped in concentrating more on personality of the students than subject, curriculum, and syllabus. Another experiment was encouraging seniors to take classes for juniors. We paid them for hourly basis and seen that best feedbacks are getting from senior students and senior student sessions compared with industry experts with 30, 40 years of experience. Afternoon sessions are dedicated for career development activities, improving the soft skills which we were discussing. And leisurely sessions where interaction, role play, and acting happens, which we call it as global theater. This resulted in something, we had a situation in the first year, where companies called us back and told that we are no more coming to your campus for recruiting people. But we nullified absenteeism as they attend participatory active session every day than passive listening. Second result was we are able to establish a student-friendly campus where students and teachers work together for every session harmoniously. Student references, as an investor, this was a helpful situation for me. Student references for new admissions has increased threefold, making lesser investment in marketing and branding. Last year, among the 420 students, 270 of them were referred by the existing students or the senior students. Students started building enterprises, small and big, immediately after their final assessment because they are highly motivated by the new systems. It's a collaborative learning which happened inside the class. Companies started recruiting gym students. This is a dream coming true for us. Last year, companies just called us and told that you can send students without interview. They were able to take students because the previous batch students exhibit social skills, dedication, and high level of commitment at the workplace. Teachers, of course, are inspired by the change because they feel that something significant they are contributing in the classrooms. There is a co-creation of knowledge, there is exchange of ideas. The class sessions are framed along with a group of students. Students are taking care of 2 hours of sessions. Lecture is happening only 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So it is a contextual way and the life itself is recreated in the class. I feel happy. People in the campus feel happy, rejoiced, making life at gyms memorable every day. Thank you very much.
Alright, so we encroached a lot on our coffee break, but I still feel we should have at least some discussion after this very interesting presentation about the case of transformation in an unlikely place with a lot of competition. So let's take 3 questions.
Okay.
Just wanted to briefly thank you for very practical examples and the success stories, as a before and after. That's a very good way of explaining what is needed and what a significant difference it can make. So you need to remind us, and it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it didn't require a large financial investment.
Nothing, actually. So the requirement is our own attitude, our own readiness for change.
I think this is really important because mostly universities just ask for more money and then everything will happen magically.
It's more a general reflection on what we heard. Spatio-temporal specificity. So we heard from Raditz and from Jasna, locality and the reference to survey. And many of these things which we are discussing are defined by where you are. I'm from Hungary. Disruption is in the genes for the last 500 years. Okay, so it's genetic. Okay, if you take the present situation, where the economies go, where the geopolitics go, there is a certain fragmentation. So it defines as well how countries foresee the future in front of them, and what is the mix of a top-down approach, be it economy or social areas, or a bottom-up approach. And I'm not speaking black and white, it's the right mix. Okay? And the temporal element of the specificity, I think we cannot speak just like in linear terms. Here we are, and here we go, or here we go, or here this is where, again, some of the cycles are pushing or thinking towards more top-down model or bottom-up model. It's relevant for the critical thinking. You cannot compartmentalize critical thinking, saying that look, in the hard skills you have to be a critical thinker. In the soft skills there is a certain compartmentalization. There are certain boundaries. If you understand what you mean.
Just one comment. I'm also teaching in the Tongji University as a guest professor, but I'm from industry. So when you talk about the new, or let's say the new paradigm and what the industry really wants to have from the students or from the training itself, you can still invite professors or let's say lecturers coming from industry, and they will guide the student to do certain projects with that human skills or etc., which is necessary even in a team which is from students, and that will have some relevance to what kind of groups you are working with in the industry. So this is a possibility to do that. Again, that somehow you have to get rid of the administrative restrictions which I just heard. I understood it a bit, but you need that. Okay? Otherwise, how to do this disruptive change?
Okay. So I feel quite bad for keeping you from coffee. Thank you very much for coming. I think we can continue our discussions and interactions with coffee.
Thank you.